Happy Thursday here at Today at the Races, and happy kickoff to Maryland Million Week. Of course, Callie Francois with Keith Fustel here. Let's just get right to it. We have this has been a tricky card to get through for Thursday's card. So the whole weekend, just like whole last weekend, this weekend, no different. Track is fast. Turf is firm, Keith.
Yeah, let's take advantage of this weather while we've got it right now. It's a beautiful day today, so if you can come out live and join us here at Laurel Park, please do so. Preparations going on around us for Maryland Million Day Saturday. Lou, Dave, the whole gang. They're doing yeoman's work trying to get this place in tip-top order for the Maryland Million Day. Looking forward to that on Saturday. But you're talking about from a handicapping standpoint, the cards have been great. Racing Office has done a tremendous job. The challenges are endless from a handicapper standpoint. I know I went here Sunday, but a little love Dave gave me for Biddy Boss at a nice price.
That
Got
was
it
awesome.
done. How about that?
That was awesome.
So, yeah, I was watching from the station, and
What did
a
that
couple,
horse?
couple
What
people
did
had
that
a couple
horse
bucks.
pay? I remember.
He was, I think, got hit down. She got hit down to 14-1 or so when it was all said and done.
She certainly was.
Yeah.
$30.20 winner
but
there
no-
for
no-
Betty Boss. While Keith wasn't on the show, he gave us a great
wow.
value play for Sunday. So let's see. We'll get to his value plays in a bit, but let's kick things off in this early pick 5. Maiden special weight. 5.5 on the turf for the girls. 3, 4, and 5. Scratch in the 3. Lady Thor. The 9. Conceptualize the 10. Abstract moment. Keith, you have the number 8 on top in Legna Magneta for Lori Testerman and Al Delgado.
I know Dave and I were confusing each other upstairs. I always kind of go to him for the pronunciations of these horses. I'm going to stay with Lena Manata because that's easy for me to say.
Oh, that's so much easier.
That could be wrong. But anyhow, we're going to go for a bomb shot. Our man, Albert Delgado. Talking to Joe Gass coming in. You remember Albert riding California Chrome. Get it done there. Let's get it done here at a much bigger price with Lena Manata. 20-1 on the line. And, I think has never taken any play in races. But that race off of a break from June to September on the turf behind Ban on a Run was really sneaky good. Ban on a Run came back to win impressively clear, like a low 80 buyer, 83 in the allowance ranks. This horse had a little issue early out of the gate, broke a little slow, dropped back, and really finished well. I call it the flash move past the wire, and that one did it. Gets a little extra ground here today, a little sharper break last time on that sloppy sealed surface on an off-the-turf race. Turning back with some speeds in here to target. Why not take a shot at a price?
And then you go with Classic Performer, my top selection. Let's take a look back at that last run underneath J-Ron Barbosa today.
Yeah, just a little tough luck here. Thought she was through the maiden ranks up at Monmouth Park. A little drift in here. You're going to see under that right-handed stick coming past mid-stretch, that little gap. Sometimes horses react to that. I don't know if you've probably ridden up there, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
You've probably been in that situation before.
That gap right
yes,
there.
Yes, but keeps going. And I think the company she kept is good. That was first blinkers, second blinkers today, a straighter course. And Barbosa, I think, will get this one in a tracking spot off the speed. I think the main speed is the 7. She's stormy, fresh off a little bit of a break and a barn change. But faced the right kind, held okay down in March against a horse that came back to run pretty big in a couple subsequent races. I think ran third in 2 other than at Woodbine recently. So she's storming a little trouble there. Will go to the front. Might be the one to catch.
And there we have it. 8-6, 7-12 for Keith Fustel there in race number 1. Race number 2 kicks off his early pick 4. Let's see what you got for us today. I want to see. Ooh, no single. I'm waiting for a single to happen on these tickets, and I think it's not going to happen for a while, Keith.
We're trying. We're trying to to keep the price down. But 5, 7, 9, three horses to get you started in race number 2. This 9's going to take a slew of play. Browstown. I'm going to try to upset them a little bit with a couple. Race 3 is a spread 1, 2, 5, 11. Race 4 and 5 we go 2 deep. In the 4th, Outkissed. I think you'll see a better Outkissed today. And the 5 Murray, another one with Brittany Russell, impressive in return. We'll get plenty of action there. Race 5 with the 5 and 7. Elusive. Our man P. Doug Fout. We caught one off a P. Doug Fout long time ago with Albert at like 50-1, something like that.
We're due.
So we might get them back again here today. Not quite as big as a price. There's a $24 ticket for you for the early pick 4.
There we go. Kicking things off in that early pick 4. Is this claiming 5,000 a mile and 16th on the dirt? For the 3-year-olds and up, scratch in the number 6, Buoy 2-step. Keith, you have the number 5 on top and can't pass it up for Hugh McMahon. Red Hot Barn. Thais Lai Pustina riding well for him.
Exactly. You got to pay attention. Sometimes, it's not a huge sample, but when certain riders go for certain trainers, you got to pay attention. It's good. It's a good ROI. Can't pass it up back at the track that he does his best work, in my opinion. 5 of the 6 wins have been here. I tossed the race at Timonium. Third off a little bit of a break, which has been good. It's a positive ROI move for these dirt routers for Hugh McMahon the past 3 years. I like the fact that 2 races back, a little fresh, was able to stay in range of a quick horse like Good Luck Chuck. You're going to have a quick horse to the outside in Brasstown today. So Milo 16th, that shorter run, drop in, get position. This horse has got the right kind of grinding style to maybe reel in the favorite, the heavy fave, who had everything his own way at Pimlico on that sloppy track. It was a stone speed day, got to the front and whistled. Cruz is going to pick up the mount. Has to overcome that outside post, but does get an assist with Bowie two-step out, who I thought was going to bring speed to table. I think his main threat early will be the 3. What say you?
You talked about the number 9, Brasstown. You said it's going to be the dominant speed factor here and quick enough here for Delgado and Cruz. Anything additional to add to that?
Well, with Brasstown, and he doesn't necessarily need to lead, especially at this level. He's run big numbers tracking in those, the Nichols, the 8,000 starters, races like that. So he should stay around and certainly going to be the one to beat. But I think he might be slightly vulnerable. This bar wins every time they come here, it seems. But formal order, the 7 is another one to use. A jam job for Sacco. There's a stat you want to pay attention to with this barn. When they drop, they win a lot. 7 for 17, 41%. 12 for 17 the money with an ROI hedging towards $3. This horse doesn't have a slew of speed. I think will work here, though, if things heat up a little bit on the front end, makes her run for Sacco. That's a look at the second.
And there we have it, 5.972 for Keith Fusel there in the second. Race number 3 is a starter optional claiming 12.5. A mile on the turf for this group today for the 3-year-olds and up, scratching the 3, 4, big scratch to me in the 4, 6, 10, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Keith, you land on the number 11 to the outside in Never Change. Mario Saray Jr. and Martina Rojas gets the call with this one.
That was the little tipping point, because this one, you've got some experienced turfers in here, horses that have won multiple races on the grass. And you're looking at Never Change, and you're like, 0 for 2 with a buyer of 65. But I like the recent form and the company he's kept. And talking about jockey-trainer combination, it's been good. Her horses are alive. And Never Change. You go back to those turf tries way back. But the turf debut, it was pre-gelding, pre-blinkers, and didn't run bad. A few lengths beaten by a horse that's going on to win, I think, like grade 2, might have been grade 1 stakes play. So really quality animal. I like the form that he's kept, and I don't think this is maybe the stoutest field in this starter.
Sure.
Recent form, just a slight improvement from prior grass tries, and should move up. I think might get it done here for Never Change.
Let's go to Kovalov in your exacta. Let's take a look back at that return to the races effort back on the 18th of May.
Yeah, Kovalov. You look at his form, it's a little bit sketchy. It's good, then it's bad. It's a couple races good. And I think he's sitting on a good race, and this was a good race in return at Pimlico. You're going to see the comment. Inside, steady 3/16 angled and bid. A little bit of a weight here down inside right there. That momentum was lost, okay, and gave up a length and a half, almost 2, leaving mid-stretch. This horse does recover. Only beaten a length and change. Very willing outside to inside move off the race at Penn National. Makes him a stalk and pounce kind of a factor here in race 3.
Keith Fusel at 11.251, just underneath Hunter Joe. Hunter Joe, Hammy Smith, J-Ron Barbosa. They've been okay for the most part when they get team up together, but on the turf they have to yet. But Hunter Joe, I feel like they're just trying to find the right distance for this horse.
He's just right. He's just that tweener. Yeah, where's the perfect spot? I think there is relief here off of some of these recent races he's run. He's run against some killers on the turf. This field works for him. I think he's in range early, and then I think he stays the trip against this group.
11.251 for Keith Fusel there in race number 3. Race number 4, that third leg of the early pick 4 also kicks off the Rainbow Pick 6. Just taking a quick quickie look at my ticket.
Okay.
2 deep, 5-7. I believe you have that in your pick 4 as well. Race number 5, 2, 4, 5, and race number 6 is where I decide to take. I take a bit of a gutsy single. That's a maiden claiming 20,000 in the jackpot super high 5. I understand that race could go way. You could go way wide in that. We'll get to that race in a second. But the breeding suggests that this turf to dirt might work out for this Ricky Silliman runner. Race number 7, 2 deep with the 7-11. Race number 8, the 13 draws in, and race number 9. 4-7-9 there for $21.60 ticket. But let's get back to the good stuff here in where it kicks off in this allowance optional claiming 40,000, 5.5 on the dirt for the 3-year-olds and up. Let's go ahead and take a look at that last start. I'm first off the layoff for Murray and the Russells.
Yeah, really got it done. Bet down to 4-5. You know he was going to take a lot of play, the Baffer to Russell horse. And I tell you, I really liked Brother Conway in there. He didn't disappoint me. Murray just ran a little bit better. He just closed determinedly. Maybe I don't want to really call it class. He's won 2 races, but I mean it's kind of showing right there the determination of this runner, the son of Street Sense, late to get by a horse that came back and galloped with a 91 figure. So we're moving into the 2 other than group. I think he fits here. Can just make the transition. Another forward trip. I think Outkissed is pretty quick. I'm going to go ahead and toss that last race. Bumped at the start, checked at the 5/16. Didn't get a fair shot. Coming back second off the break, goes back and beating horses, like Al loves Josie. I think you're going to see an improved try from Outkissed with the X-Man today. Another one of these jockey-trainer combos that pays dividends.
Another jockey-trainer combo is Ness and Rodriguez in the number 2 cadre, who you have underneath as well.
Yeah, second off the claim, a little drop out of Tougher. Nobody was going to catch Pirate Rick that day. He's shown the ability. 5.5, 2 for 5 at this kind of distance. Likes it. Again, we'll tuck up inside, and I think we'll make that move into the flow.
5-4-2-8 for Keith Fusel in race number 4 to round out his early pick 5 is race number 5 in this claiming 25,000 for the 3-year-olds, which have never won 2, going a mile and 16th on the turf for the 3-year-olds and up, scratching the 8, 9, 11, 13, and 15, the 12 runs and the 14 runs as well. Okay. But you have the number 7 on top. This is elusive in for Paul Fout, Horacio Caramanos.
P. Doug Fout, Beverly Steinman. Very familiar silks. Easy to pick up when we're calling charts. Easy for Rodman. We know those. So elusive, yeah. I mean, going back, you're looking at those last couple races with the blinkers going back on. We've seen massive improvement. The most recent try, that was a killer field. 25 allowed starter. Back into 2 in life. The right condition today. Tiberius Maximus. That horse has run like 93s, 94s, pairing up a couple races back. So this is the right kind of field. Showed a couple moves. A little bit erratic through the stretch. I think this one is called the right group. 8-1 morning line. It's value, and you've got to take advantage of it here in the 5th race. I think this horse will sit somewhere mid-pack. I wish there was a little bit more of a contested pace. It might develop with Dark and Fitzy and get down on it, but I'll take my shot here.
Okay, there we go. A little bit of a shot at 8-1. You also you just mentioned 5-1 on Dark and Fitzy for Ricky Silliman for his boys. Trying getting her way to that 1,000th win.
The key is, how far can he go? Can he be nursed along? He's got Forrest. Yes, she's sneaky good on the front end, and that's what's going to take for this horse. I think off the sprints will be forward. The horse to the outside has shown some speed in the past, so we'll see. Mile and 16th. I know he's won at this distance. He still might be pushing it at this point in time, but I think he hangs around. General's Duty might have that best from the back of the pack run today. That's the 2.
7-5-2-4 for Keith Fusel there in race number 5. And we'll be right back after this commercial break, starting with race at number 6.
And they're off.
Weather's already starting to warm up from that crisp, cooler air, and let's get back into action in this jackpot super high 5 race. Also kicks off the late pick 4 in this maiden claiming 20,000, a mile on the dirt for the straight 2-year-olds. You have the number 2 on top in Mr. Agent Linda Albert Yomar Ortiz. I almost had this one on my ticket as well.
Yeah, this is a scramble of a race. 2-year-olds going a mile, 20 down to 16, and as they take out the 5, take out the 8. Right, hit the road jack. She's done this before. Albeit it was like one time with Noble Prendergrass last November at like 5 or 6 to 1. So I'm going to trust that she's got the right gauge. These horses' works are pretty steady. The mare was good, 11-time winner. It's a full to 2 4-time winners in Bonded, who's won long. Royal Spy was more like that kind of one-run sprint type grinding, steady grinding, closing type of sprinter. But the Blofelds can win early. This barn is rolling right along right now, so I'll take a shot with the firster. Mr. Agent, where he's going to come from, who knows? I just riding the wave of Linda Albert right now.
Why not? You also go with the number 7, Brody Boy. Morning line 10 to 1 gets the blinkers on, and Forest Boyce on as well for Ricky Silliman.
Yeah, good prices galore here, 12 and 10. No. Brody Boy, yeah, by Spicer. Blinkers going on. Silliman Barn horse has been running pretty good. 7 winning siblings. The best work has been done on the main track. A little bit of light life. A win early family as well. 2 of the 8 won first asking. A couple of other ones have hit the board. Brody Boy with the blinkers on, I think, will definitely be closer. Another price shot here. The 10, Gallant Ruler. I thought ran sneaky good. Was caught up behind horses under some rating into the stretch last time. Finished up quite well. Don't let the 16-length defeat fool you, and took plenty of early play here for Robbie Bales. And early and often play. I'm going to throw that one in the mix as well. Takeo. It looks like a horse maybe you can trust. Has had some efforts. Blinkers come off. This barn is a good percentage barn route to sprint with the maidens over the last few years. So if the flow is okay, I think Elia Festina is able to nurse this one around the track for at least a piece.
On top of that, Rudy Sanchez Solomon being 4 for 17, 24% with his first-time routers at that with the number 3. Keith Fusel, 2, 7, 10, 3 there. In our jackpot super high 5 race, race number 7 is a starter optional 20, 5.5 on the turf for the girls, 3 and up scratch the 1, 12, 13, 14, and 15. 11 gets in Shasta Star. But let's talk about your top selection. Let's go 3 back with Rambert for Mike Stidham and Javian Toledo back at Delaware Park.
Yeah, we've got a firm turf course today. We still know this time of year there might be a touch.
There's going to be a cut
of give into it.
There we go, give.
Yeah, and bobbled at the break in the return try. Gets a horse, that's all right. Above the limit, a pretty quick horse. And there is some flow in here. There's no doubt about it. This one is going to be able to rate just off the pace, I believe, and kind of make that move. Key is coming back on Lasix as well. Those 2 tries, not good. But, man, I think if she reverts to the effort here at Delaware, she can get it done against this group. This is a tough field. I think Hitch a Ride warrants consideration. The 11 Shasta Star, if you missed her on Sunday, she's right back here today. Draws in. She's 7 for 7 on the turf. Loves it. She's almost like push-button-like. She only really runs the last 3/16 of a mile. She moves up into contention very easily under a rating hole and just kind of makes that run. Like a little tougher field than what she faced the other day.
Normally I don't go for one that's coming back this quickly, as we just saw her on Sunday, but the filly is just in too high of spirits, I think, to just deny. So you also go with the number 8 underneath and Hitch a Ride you just mentioned, and as a Keith Fusel, you also wrap things up with Spicy Margarita.
I think this one works. I mean, galloped over this turf course back in April, now comes back to that. A good try on the dirt. Will be part of the flow, I believe, and can stay around. But look in the rearview mirror for a couple of these horses from just off the pace. Hopefully it's Rambert for me. And Shasta Star will be rolling, as will
Hitch
a Ride. Okay. What are your thoughts on Canadian Ginger? She's been good. She's hard to leave out of the exactas, I would think.
Very hard. So just let me, if I could scroll really quickly to the notes I have on her, because I have a lot of confidence in this filly. And when Shasta Star drew in, it was with the way Shasta Star is going, too good to deny. But she's back at a bit of a better distance. While she hasn't been in the strongest of fields, but as far as this level goes, why push it? So she gets a more challenging field today. It's the versatility. Other speed in this race does not like company. Really awesome gallop out in that effort last time out. Actually, a couple of starts back. Especially even when she kind of got a little crowded there, going a mile here at Laurel last time out. So she just, I love what visually, for me, is what sells me for Canadian Ginger.
Okay. Yeah. I won't leave her out of my exactas. No, she just didn't make the top 4 here.
All right.
But it's a good race. Yeah.
Very good race. 2:11.83 for Keith Fustel. Race number 8 is an allowance optional claiming 40,000. We stay on the turf, and we stay 5.5 on the turf as well. Taking a look, we have a couple of scratches in the 4, 9, 10, 11, and 15. The 13 does run. And let's go ahead and take a look at the number 2 who you have on top. And boats are rocking, and we're going to refer back to that first off of the shelf back in April.
Yeah, and now returns today to the Laurel Turf Course. Midday Image, who is in here, I think is definitely going to be a factor from a move from just off the pace. But boats are rocking here. Runs pretty well. Has to kind of slide through, a tougher spot down inside. Does so, just isn't quite good enough. He's you go 7.5, a mile, then the 5.5, a good gritty effort at Colonial, and then Sans Lasix at Parks. Likes this turf course, positional speed and a finish. Probably need the perfect trip if he's going to get it done. Let's hope Tyler Conner can get him in good position. He's going to grind it out. This horse likes to win.
Boats are rocking there with Tyler Conner in your top selection. The 13, who draws in Midday Image for David Jacobson, J-Ron Barbosa, gets the call on that one. 1 for 1 on the turf together, but of course the drop down from those listed stakes company.
We just saw that race there. Was able to kind of sit back, angle 5 wide, and rolled a little closer maybe to that flow last time out at Saratoga. Down inside, it's a relaxed trip. I think can spy everything going up in front and work out a really good trip from a few lengths out of it mid-turn.
And there we have it, 2:13, 12.8 for Keith Fustel. Race number 9, a maiden claiming 20,000. 3/4 of a mile on the dirt for the 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. You have the number 2 on top. In Love Notion for Damon Dealdevico. J-Ron Barbosa gets the call.
Well, you see the stat there kind of jumping out at you, daily racing form. Second off of this type of layoff, 33%. Solid ROI. Turf to dirt angle works for this barn and this family. Dirt works for this family. I like that. Couple sibs have won short and long on the dirt. Again, I think and this is going to be the first time Lasix on the dirt. So I think this horse gets forward position. I don't know if anybody's as quick as free admission through that opening quarter. But maybe Jock can kind of move just outside, get a stalking trip, and move into that flow, because there are going to be some horses kind of making that run ratified. I think we'll take a ton of play here for Jamie Ness, going first off the claim, 9% barn to a high percentage barn. Chase Lone Speed in a horse that, when it came back, ran well on the race. So that gives ratified a lot of hope here. You gotta like the chance, but the price is going to be short. Marley's Ghost I'll use, and the 1. Let's talk about the 1. Dave Rodman. This is a kind of a stable male type. I'll release it for him here. I'm sure he would have given it out on the show, but had a horror trip 2 races back going long at Pimlico. You see the comment, block steady late, would have won that with a clear run. He thought the track was a little bit cuppy on July 9th. This horse did not take to it. Freshened up. Could be dangerous here in return, shortening up in distance for Phil Capuano.
There we have it. 24914 Keith Fustel in our Today at the Races chat about Thursday's card. Let's dive in a little bit deeper into lightning round. And in this lightning round, Keith, you have you don't have any value plays.
I've got value plays.
You have all the value plays.
Yeah.
No best bets, but all the value plays. Let's start off with your first value play in race number 1
Kick
and
it off.
number 8. Kicking it right off of the get-go, Elena Magneta with Valora Testerman and Aldo Gatto.
Absolutely. I thought the turf try 2 races back was really, really good. That run caught my eye from the back of the pack, calling that chart. Hence, you see the run, inside angle, bid, beaten 6. You don't get the. This horse was running late. And I think there's enough flow in here. And this horse was a little bit sharper out of the gate last time, a little bit of break, maybe sits mid-pack and runs into the speeds at a big price.
20-1 morning line for Keith Fustel's first value play of the day. The second one is in race number 5 with the number 7, Elusive for Paul Fout, Horacio Caramanos. 8-1 on this one.
Back in the right condition. The blinkers went back on a couple races back, but that was a good race against a big-time turf horse at Colonial. doesn't face this kind today.
And you have a 12-1 shot to wrap up your value plays here in race number 8 on the number 2. Boats are rocking for Brandon Culp and Tyler Connor.
How do you not like this guy?
Sure.
6 years old, grinding it out, back on Lasix, likes this turf course. Look at that, 3 for 5 with a third. The trip's going to have to be perfect. This is a pretty salty group, some horses that can make a good run from the back of the pack. But he can handle some challenges, no doubt about it. It's getting to the top of the lane with a little bit of an easy trip. I think he'll battle from there.
Letting things simmer a little bit before I brought this up. Now we're well into autumn. Let's open that lid and let's look at the leaderboard of what's going on so far. Tied with between Javion and J-Ron, with Horacio Caramanos tied with Angel Cruz and Forrest Boyce as well.
Yeah, love it. I mean,
love it.
And we talk about it all the time. You put these jockeys up, you can trust in a lot of them. Don't get me wrong. And Forrest Boyce, we're kind of rooting for her, no doubt. Her and Jay Burtis have teamed up and done phenomenal through the years. Looking forward to her to get to that 1,000 win mark.
We're all counting down.
Yep.
We're all counting down for Forrest. Let's take a look. Brittany Russell taking command, but Hugh McMahon having a great meet right behind him, with Delacour McGee and Nessa trailing behind.
Again, we talk about it. These races for the trainers, they go in waves. Condition book's got to work right. Everything's kind of fall into place. Brittany holds a lot of bullets, but McMahon Barn right now doing quite well.
Oh, can't wait to see what brings up this weekend with both of those barns. And we will leave it to Dave Rodman for some more changes and scratches here for Thursday's card.
All right, good luck.